Yeah, so Monkeyboy's YouTube channel is the best YouTube channel. Stands independently, intersubjectively, and I'm very much speaking from the heart here when I say that.
Monkeyboy's YouTube channel is stance independently and intersubjectively the best YouTube channel. Subscribe. I'm talking from the heart.
Yeah, put them in prison or whatever.
I disagree. I think that if you had the option to not put them in jail and still give them like some punishment or whatever, or like some sort of, that's not the point. Is I'm saying that's not true entirely.
No, I think that love does not come without consequence. So
Yeah,
like,
look,
even when
I
you guys
wanna,
are talking about,
wait. I want to get like back to this other stuff. Like, I wonder how J-Rob responds to like problems of hiddenness.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Couldn't God, like, do you take it that I'm like epistemically justified to believe in God, or like as an atheist? Like, surely you've seen me talk enough that you think like, you think that I think there is like a sound argument, or
well, no, I believe it's a heart issue, even though you try to make it a logic.
I'm asking you if you think I'm epistemically justified in believing in God. You do think I am,
right?
And why do you think that?
Yeah, because I believe that God.
Well, at least it's possible there are people who are not epistemically justified. Why then doesn't God just like write out like an argument in the sky, such that when people choose him?
I told you I said earlier that I'm not fully convinced. I mean, John kind of clears some things up for me, but I'm still not fully convinced that there are non-resistant non-believers.
Well, Monkey,
whether you're not convinced in that, you're not actually justified in thinking that for any person who believes they're not justified, that they're actually just resistant to the truth. You don't think that, right?
No, but Monkey, when you say
you're justified in thinking that,
Monkey, when you say that your standard is why doesn't God write something in the sky?
Well, wait,
your standard isn't rational. Is what I'm trying to say.
I do kind of want to let them talk because
that's just definitionally untrue.
I actually been trying to hop into.
Well, your standard of why doesn't God write something in the sky?
If you're asking about,
it's not even in good faith.
What's not? What are you understanding not good faith to mean?
He thinks like an honest approach to believing.
How's that not honest?
Even
though the point is that I take it that if I were to believe in God right now, I'd be irrational, given I'm not epistemically warranted in the belief.
I'm saying that your standard is not rational. Wait, God is like
hold on.
What's your standard of evidence?
When you say it's not rational, what is that saying?
Yeah, it means that your standards are rational. It shouldn't even be taken seriously.
Wait. Let me clarify this stuff with him. What do you mean my standard?
Yeah, your standard of for me to believe in Jesus Christ, he needs to write something in the sky for me so I can believe him.
No.
It's not even something.
Let me explain this.
Someone should take seriously.
I'm saying that in order to be epistemically justified, I would need a sound argument, right, supporting the proposition. And I'm saying that instead of me just believing irrationally, what God can do to favor my belief, given I have like a background of norms that guide my belief and like my decision making, what propositions I believe, God can write an argument in the air that sounds such that I'm not at least that if I choose not to believe in God, that I'm irrational.
Yeah, you haven't actually defined what that sound argument would look like. So it already communicates to me that you're arguing in bad faith.
Wait, what's bad faith about that?
Because you're basically appealing to, well, if I had this sound argument, then that would be enough. But you'll never define it because by not defining
it,
you have to continue.
Define what?
The sound argument that would be good enough for you.
Wait. Let's get clear. You're saying, how do I define what a sound argument is?
Yeah. You haven't given any example for that.
It's just. Well,
it's just whatever.
Wait. Look, let's go a step at a time. You're asking, what is an example of a sound argument?
I'm saying, yeah, you would need an example.
Well,
of a sound
here's an example. Wait.
Look,
here's an example of a sound argument. An example is like Socrates is man, all men are mortal, therefore Socrates is mortal.
You're missing the point.
You're missing the point. Wait. Look, I just asked you for clarity. Are you asking for an example of a sound argument?
I'm the one who's asking you for clarity.
Stop. Look, I'm not understanding what you're saying. You're saying that my standards are rational. I'm trying to understand what that means. You said that I can't define soundness, a sound argument. And then I said, of course I can. Then you're asking for examples of a sound argument. And I clarified, are you asking for an example of a sound argument? You said,
an
yes.
example specific
now I'm giving you, okay, now you're hedging.
That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking
for this is semantics.
Okay. It's not semantics. It's actually very important.
Wait. Okay, now you're hedging what you're saying. If all you meant is a sound argument, God exists, if I already thought there could be an example of that, right? If I can exemplify a sound argument, I would already be irrational for believing.
That's exactly why you're arguing in bad faith. Do you realize that?
What is bad faith about that?
Because basically you've already set this up so that there is no possible argument that you would consider
no,
sound
that doesn't
enough
follow.
to believe in God.
Wait. Where are you getting? There's no possibility for a sound argument. Where are you getting that?
Because you still failed to give an exemplar argument for what would be sound. I mean, it's already.
He's just saying that your mind is made up.
Oh
You
my
don't have
God!
to-
Yeah, exactly.
These people got to stop interrupting. Look, I don't understand what you're saying. Surely you don't think that
How do
it's
you not
true to
understand?
say
It's pretty simple.
you're not clarifying. That's why, right? So let's try and actually be precise in what you're saying. Surely you're not saying that it's true that if I don't have an example of something, that thereby I'm saying that that's impossible. Maybe I'm irrational, right? I don't have good reasons to believe there's a rainbow duck in the actual world, but I'm not denying it's the possibility for there to be a rainbow duck. So if I say that I'm irrational for believing in a rainbow duck, right, and maybe that's like for inductive reasons or Bayesian reasons, whatever, right? I can have a range of inferential reasons to say that I'm not rational for believing there's a rainbow duck. So until I'm presented with epistemic warrant, then only then am I rational for believing, right? All I want is an argument that establishes that I'm irrational for thinking there's not a rainbow duck. I want new information that presents inferential reasons to believe there's a rainbow duck. That's all I'm saying. No one denied the possibility of God. What I said is I don't have good epistemic reasons to believe there's a God, right? And I said one way God can make it such that I'm rationally compelled to believe in Him
is if He wrote something in the sky, which is not rational.
Without. Can you stop interrupting? Can you please do that? Let me land the plane. The one way He can do that, where wait. Look, if you're gonna just keep interrupting you, I'll just drop you and I'll bring you back up when I'm done speaking. Right? We don't need you. We don't. Well, look, you're operating in bad faith yourself. Every time you interject, you're not.
You're obfuscating.
Wait. You're doing it. Well, how am I obfuscating?
Because you're just it's just a bunch of word salad, and I've already addressed.
Wait. How's it? Wait. How?
And now you're dodging.
Wait. How's it word salad?
First, I wasn't. You went on in the soliloquy.
Okay, this guy. Look. First, I'm not using jargon at all, right? Maybe if terms like epistemic, maybe words like epistemic norms or something you're unfamiliar with. I can clarify what those means, right? And I want you to clarify what the sound argument would be. Okay, I will just drop you, and for now on, I'll just bring you back up when I'm done speaking. So hopefully in the chat, you can appreciate what I'm saying, and you can come up and actually respond. And if you yourself are going to be a hypocrite and not engage in good faith, then you could just not come back. So what I'm saying is that what I mean by an epistemic norm are certain standards of which guide my beliefs, right? And these types of norms that guide my beliefs are understood to be epistemic norms, right? So they define what it means for me to be rational, right? To be rational in a belief is just to say that the probability distribution between this belief and maybe you want to say stuff like competing beliefs that can take its place or opportunity cost in beliefs is ones where the probability favors the proposition in which I believe, right? So my beliefs are guided by evidence or evidences. Okay, now all I'm saying is that I don't have evidence in light of which warrants the belief there's a God, right? In virtue of which I'd be rational. So all I'm saying there is that I'm not saying it's impossible God exists. I'm saying that there's ways in which I can choose to believe God, whereby my choice can be rational, which isn't, a type of motivator, right? A rational motivator, right? If I'm a rational actor and I aim to have rationally warranted beliefs, what God can do, where He's not in any way, combating like free will or the possibility for me to freely choose Him. He's just, what He could do is just like present an argument where He could write it in the air, where I'm like epistemically obligated to believe in God, but I can still make the choice whether to believe Him or not by my own volition. Now that scenario describes one where I'm still freely choosing whether to believe in God, and God can reveal Himself in a way where I can't say the reason I deny Him is because I don't think I would be rational in believing Him. So now if you can come up and respond to that, that would be great. I don't know if he's still in here, but if he's in here, you can invite him.
Yeah, he's in here.
Yeah, he ran away.
So I guess I could try to. I want to listen to everything you said, but I listened to pretty much the last portion of it. But like the argument that I make is the God that we believe in that's presented in the Bible. Basically, it's not simply just about you having a belief in the existence of God, but God, He's looking at your heart posture, and based off of that, it says that He gives grace to the humble and He resists the proud. So basically, it shows that He deals with you according to the measure of your heart posture. So
but people are not going to be inclined to, they're not going to give their hearts to things that they think they're like irrational for believing. Like people are not going to give their hearts to jumping off planes and landing on the floor 1,000 feet in the air if they didn't have reason to think that.
Well, no, it's not simply that. It's not simply just like believing in Him, right? Because the Bible says that even demons believe right, in God, right? That doesn't mean that they are you know, like truly justified with God. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
if your heart is wicked, then God resists you. Like if you have a
well, I'm
prideful heart,
saying that
He resists you. So while yes, you might in your mind say, hey, I don't have any epistemic reasons to believe in God. From our perspective, it's like, okay, you have a heart disposition that is opposed to God. Whereas while you think you need a good argument, I'm sure all you need is God to like reveal Himself to you.
I
yeah,
have a
but
question.
if the point
If
is that
you
if God reveals himself with an argument, then at least then I can't say that I'm irrational. Because the point is that if you're saying that you have a heart disposition, so you're choosing
Monkey,
uh, whether to
I just
believe
want
in
you to
him or
understand the
not.
Bible says that that the message of the cross is foolishness to those that are perishing. It's
Yeah,
foolishness.
but I
So in
don't
your
see why it
mind,
wouldn't just be foolish
in
right now
your
to believe in
mind, it's
God.
irrational foolishness to believe in this, right?
Well,
It's
do you take it that if let's say someone believed that if they jumped off a plane 1,000 feet in the air, that they will save world hunger or something? Would you think that they're rational for that?
oh yeah, sure.
You
I
would
mean,
say they're rational for that.
depends on the circumstances, but for the most part, yeah.
What do you mean for the most part they would be rational?
Irrational.
I said
He's agreeing that they would be irrational.
they would be irrational,
Oh,
depending on the
irrational. Okay.
circumstances.
Okay. Yeah. Then why doesn't? So then I don't really understand. Why wouldn't God just make it whereby the people who choose to not believe in Him, or at least not given the excuse, they don't levy the excuse that they're irrational for not believing in Him, or sorry,
Yeah,
for believing in Him.
I mean, in some ways, it could just be a form of mercy. God
Mercy.
doesn't. You said what?
No, look, I'm saying that if many of the people don't believe in Him because they think that they would be irrational to believe in Him, what He can do is He can just extinguish that excuse by giving them the epistemic reasons to believe in Him, and then those who have the dispositioned heart to go against Him are shown that they have like this hardened heart, and they don't have the excuse that they're merely irrational.
Also, and that still doesn't
Like
answer the case for like somebody like me, General. Like I don't give a fuck if it appears irrational or not. If God showed himself to me, I would believe. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm
because
trying to get
he
Monkey
wants to
Boy
say
to.
there's no
I'm trying to get
non-resistant
Monkey Boy to
non-believers.
understand. I'm trying to get Monkey Boy to
I know
understand
that's
that.
what he's trying to say, but like
He,
that's just not the case. There are clearly plenty of non-resistant non-believers.
Yeah, but he wants to say that like it's because some heart disposition, but I'm not sure he actually is committed to. Like, there's no way you actually believe that. Like all the people who think there's not a God, that they think that they're like being irrational and they're just suppressing that truth. Like you think like if I somehow, let's say we made it like a machine where like the person was the most honest they could be, you think that they could like produce like sound arguments then that show that God exists?
sound arguments. I mean, there are multiple sound arguments that people hold to prove God's
I've
existence.
never seen any.
I mean, but that's y'all feel bros. Like y'all got your own stuff going on.
Look, your claim is
you
that
know what I'm saying?
everyone's a non-resistant non-believer. So those who think that views like theism are implausible, or they have like their own justifications that mitigate theistic views, you want to say that those are actually non-genuine, that they are actually engineering arguments in a biased way.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that,
theism.
that there. So, do you not agree that there are some people who are
How are
looking
they
for?
non-resistant non-believers if they actually think they are like not justified in believing in God?
Wait, I don't believe in non-resistant non-belief.
Okay, so you said that earlier, but if that's not the case, then I don't understand why God doesn't just write an argument in the air still.
Yeah, well, like I was about to say, do you not agree that there's been many people who have been convinced by your little arguments, the little Philbro arguments that y'all love?
Yeah, there's plenty of people who've been convinced by those.
Okay, so they're convinced by those, but you claim
I think
that
most people are actually convinced
you
by
claim that
inferences.
there's no rational argument, right? So while you're kind of like holding to this idea that there's an objective rational argument, like because you don't think it's
I'm not
convincing.
saying any of that.
Okay, well then it is rational. It is rational to believe in God.
But I haven't been presented
you're
with
just
an
not
argument.
Wait, hang
you're
on.
just not convinced.
He's saying that he said that he hasn't seen a sound or rational argument, or seen a sound argument that would.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe.
Belief.
I find it hard to believe that somebody who's so engaged into philosophy that
Jared,
there's no sound argument.
Yeah,
Jared, I'm
saying.
of the same opinion though. Like particularly for Christianity, I'm definitely convinced that I'm not convinced that there's a sound argument as it stands. I haven't seen one that doesn't like rise to the occasion. if there is one, I would like to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
that's,
like
that's
I
what I'm
could at
saying.
least.
But I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying that because I've been engaged in some discipline for like a prolonged time, that's reason to think that there's like sound arguments for
yeah,
a
because
view.
what I'm
Like, look,
no,
imagine
no, 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 monkey boy, monkey boy,
imagine someone offered a biological theory that
monkey,
we wait.
monkey.
Hold on. Imagine someone offered a biological theory that like we evolved from like birds or something, right? And let's say that like theory's been like long-standing historically. There's evidence that people have actually like believed in.
No,
Let's just say
monkey,
that
you're not
conspiracy
getting.
for
No,
ages.
you didn't
Do
get
you
the
think
point.
that because well,
You
then
didn't
what's
get
the
the
point?
point. The point is right. Is that it's not whether or not the argument is sound. It's whether or not you're convinced by it. Because
No, Monkey Boy is
there's
giving you.
plenty
He's
of
saying that
Wait,
is
but
what would convince him. He's
huh?
literally
the
telling
point
you.
is that
No, I'm saying that if you're
the
engaged
types
in
of arguments that convince people are the
no,
ones
that's what I'm
that
saying.
the
If you're
people
engaged in
believe themselves to
philosophy,
be sound.
then you know that there are many arguments that are made for the existence of God, and
Okay.
many people believe they're sound. You might not believe
Okay.
they're sound. That's simply because you're not convinced by it. It's not like some objective standard of it being sound or not. It's just you're not convinced by it.
Yeah,
It's
so
because
he's
the inferences they like levy are not sound, and what I mean by that is like the premise
According
is
to you,
constructed. Well,
if I get William Lane Craig to the
according. Wait,
panel,
no, wait. No, it's according to themselves too, because the point is that I engage in these like dialectics to show that their arguments are not actually sound. Right. The point is they give like a sequence of premises to like establish some conclusion, that being like God exists or something, right? And then either the structure of the inference is one that's like malformed, and even when reconstructed, a lot of like the premises are controversial, and they never give like support to believe those things.
okay. Well, like I said, I don't get into that field bro stuff. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain to you is that no matter what, it's a heart issue. Even if you had an argument.
What was this whole point though
Wait,
about like
Monkey Boy, listen.
a lot of
Even if
people
you had an
convinced by
argument,
argument?
Monkey Boy, even if you had an argument that convinced you that a God exists, that doesn't mean that you're going to become a child of God. You might claim to be a Christian, or you might, follow Islam or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you're going to be a child of God. That means you're going to be held to a higher standard of of judgment, because now you have a understanding that God exists, but your heart posture isn't towards God. So you now willingly
But look,
reject
the point is that people can't make proper choices if they're actually of the belief that there's not a God. If someone believes that they're justified in thinking there's not a God, and suppose they actually have a disposition of believing God, they're gonna not believe in God concerning like
Monkey
the
Boy.
background
There's
reasons
plenty
they
of
have
people,
to not
bro.
believe.
You're talking to one of them. I was an atheist, right? There's plenty of people who didn't believe in God, but
But
had
they don't know
a
philosophy, so that doesn't matter.
there's plenty of people who didn't believe in God, but they had a revelation from God that convinced them of His
But
existence.
wait.
Yeah, but you're not understanding that. The point there about the revelation thing is just to say that there's some experience that some person had, but it obviously doesn't follow from your contents of your experience that what explains it is whatever like you believe, or like whatever it seems to be, or even the way you interpret the scenario is like the way it seems to be. Like suppose I put like a pencil in water and it like seems to bend. I might think that's like miraculous and that water bends pencils, right? And like I could have had like some argument, before being faced with like the phenomena that there's like water pencil bending fairies, right? And then when I'm like faced with that information, I update the probability of that theory, and I think it's like I'm strongly moved to believe in those fairies.
Right? Bro, Monkey Boy, man, you're overcomplicating this, bro. Like, so are you telling me if God revealed Himself to you, like you truly?
That's not. But you're not understanding.
Wait, Monkey
reasons.
Boy, hold on. Are you telling me that when you have this, epistemic access to God's existence, are you telling me that
epistemic access? You're saying there's an argument?
No, I'm saying that you've had an experience
and I don't know how having an experience of God's going to make me believe in God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that God, like you've gotten a revelation.
If I had an experience of a unicorn right now flying out my butt, I actually wouldn't be I would suspect that it's just a greater probability that I'm hallucinating. Though it might be true. So like merely having the experience isn't reason itself to adopt.
I'm saying you had witnesses. Wait, I'm saying you had witnesses. Like let's say you were living in the day of Jesus, right? You was one of the 12 disciples, right? Or you were just one of the disciples, that followed Jesus, and you seen him do the miracles. You've seen him rise
this
from the
just
grave.
goes into like a stalking.
I'm saying you seen him rise from the grave. He appears to you, and then he also does more tremendous miracles.
Let's just say all of that's true, and I'm there with him.
He's in control of everything, and you had
let's say that's all true. I'm right next to him the whole time through.
Monkey Boy, chill, man.
Okay, just continue.
I'm landed.
Now you're rambling. I get the point.
I'm not rambling. I'm giving you the scenario.
I get the scenario, but continue.
I'm saying, like, you've had all of these experiences with witnesses, tangible proof, right? Are you telling me that you still wouldn't believe in God?
Look, I interrupted and I was like, "You're not going to add anything more," and you didn't. I could have already responded.
Okay, so what? It's respect. Could just chill. I let you.
I already got the point. Yeah, I'm with God. I'm with Jesus the whole time, and He's doing miracles. That I'm perceiving and whatever, yada yada. Okay, the point is, no, I wouldn't believe that there's a God. I don't even know how I'd like begin to believe that. Again, like, this is just going back to the fact there's not an argument. Wait. That's not delusion. Again, this is just going back to the fact there's not an argument. I'm not rational for believing in God because I have experiences of a guy doing miraculous stuff. Like, of course, like in philosophy of religion, explanatory arguments like these are not even favored. Like, people like Graham Oppie, even Craig would agree that those are not good reasons to believe in God, right? People like Oppie would just explain those naturalistically, and he can stalk those with like an alien, for example. That's something I typically use in conversation. I can better explain all those facts with Jesus being an alien than the Son of God, right? And I would be.
I mean, it just sounds crazy, though. Like if God opens up the gates of heaven and hell, and you're standing at him,
you're not understanding.
You're going to sit there. You're going to sit there and be like, you know what? I don't have a monus polus or whatever.
No, he could just look. Gerald, I'm just saying
because I don't have a solid argument for God, then I'm just gonna freaking be foolish.
Wait, Gerald, why couldn't Monkeyboy just come to the conclusion that he's like a
I'm sorry. This is what I'm talking about.
He's just not like.
Yeah, why would he come to the conclusion that he's the son of God before he's a Marvel character?
Well, he's not philosophically literate, so I think he may be missing the point.
Well, you're just not understanding.
No, I completely understand.
No, because look,
I 100% understand.
No,
and I just think it's foolish.
No, because you're like the person who wants to say, well, if you see the pencil bend in water, then why wouldn't you just believe water bends pencils?
No, Monkeyboy.
Right?
That's not what I said.
That's a straw man. Wait. I can explain how you're doing that.
That's a straw man.
Well, I can explain how it's not, right? So repeating, I understand that you have the belief it's a straw man. I just said I can explain how it's not. The point is, you want to say that when faced with an experience, I should believe that I should interpret that at face value that the experience is true or something, or explain by what it seems to be. And I just don't see reasons to think that, right? The point is, you want to say that if I just experience Jesus doing miracles and saying he's the Son of God, then I should just believe he's the Son of God. And I'm just saying that's just as shallow reasoning as saying, well, if I just see the pencil bend in water and it seems to be bending by the water, then I should believe it. And I'm just saying that there's like a range of principles, heuristics, and epistemic norms that would make me irrational for reasoning that way.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. It's foolish, right? So notice how it's a straw man.
Wait, what is
you said? I'm showing you why it's a straw man.
Unironically,
oh my goodness, bro! I'm showing you.
What is the thing I'm saying?
Oh my goodness! Can I show you why it's a straw man or not?
What is the thing you're saying? I'm foolish.
Yeah, your analogy of the pencil seeming to bend, right? Right. Notice how when I'm saying no, God is actually showing you and revealing Himself to you. You standing at
but that's
the gates of heaven.
Begging. I'm sure. Question begging.
Oh my goodness!
No, you want to say that Jesus doing miracles is revealing He's God, and the whole point is that doesn't show that. In fact, I'm not rational for believing that. I have an experience and I can explain it. Believing the narrative He constructed where He says He's the Son of God. Right. But what I'm saying is that that's just because what He's saying and what He's doing, it may seem that He's the Son of God, but there's not actually an inference there that establishes that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is just dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what is dumb?
I think he
missed a man does all these powerful miracles, collapses collapses the whole.
But that's question begging.
On J-Rob's view, the Scarlet Witch could exist and then claim to be God.
Let's try and walk him through it. Like, you believe that all the phenomena, the datum about Jesus and whatever, that could be explained if Jesus was a wizard lying that He's the Son of God, right? You think that's at least possible?
J-Rob?
Yeah, he's just like naive. The Scarlet Witch come up to him, do a magic.
Let's see how bad he flops when asked. Well, why would if someone said, "I believe it's a wizard," why that person would be irrational there?
That's actually good. Yeah.
Exactly. This isn't hard to understand.
It's simply the evidence doesn't point to him being a wizard.
Yep.
Wait, what evidence? What evidence favors?
Yeah. So a wizard is a person who has certain like magical powers, right? Versus a being that is in control of all existence.
So what evidence favors theism? You said that it's not favored.
So wait, if I can finish. So the evidence, right, of somebody having the ability to create life, to like I said, crack the freaking the matrix, or however you want to call it, collapse the universe and bring you to heaven or hell. The evidence suggests. If I can finish, the evidence doesn't suggest wizardry. The evidence suggests
That's repeating the claim.
Omnipotence.
The point is that there's phenomena that Jesus is doing, right? And I'm saying, why would I be irrational for thinking it's a wizard then to be the son of God? And what's the evidence?
Bro, I just gave you the evidence, bro.
Wait, what is the evidence? Repeat it then. I didn't hear the evidence.
The evidence of being able to create life, being able to transcend.
That's expected.
Being able to transcend, this realm of existence to being.
I'm not sure what that means, but are you saying resurrect?
Not simply just being able to resurrect. So I'm not. So I've kind of.
We're talking about phenomena Jesus.
Yeah, I just expanded it, right? Just to show how delusional you are, right? Because I said,
let's not do the meta.
I said, what if? Yeah, it's not meta. I'm explaining to you.
Well, saying I'm delusional is meta. I'm just trying to understand. We're talking about the phenomena that if I was like,
and I expanded
if I was a disciple of God, the things I would see.
And I expanded it to show how delusional you are.
The things you gave are not things that Jesus did.
I understand that. So
wait, what? Wait, what do you mean you understand that? Wait, no. We're talking about wait. We're talking. No, because we're talking. Hold on. We're talking about the miracles Jesus has done, and you're saying that from those miracles, I should think that he's the Son of God. And then you're talking about things that aren't produced by Jesus.
Oh my goodness. So one.
Why is he saying, "Oh my goodness"? Like he's just not.
Yeah, because you won't shut up and let me talk.
Because you're not where we're at. We're trying to understand what miracles. We're talking. Yes.
I've already dealt with that, and I think it's irrational, right? I believe that
we're trying to.
Oh my goodness!
What is the evidence? What is the evidence? What is the evidence?
All right, yeah, you muted me, so I'm gonna mute you. All right, so
the evidence.
Oh my goodness, yo! Why does he act like a child?
Wait, J-Rob,
just give the evidence. Stop crying.
Like he lives up to his freaking username.
He's doing meta again. Just give the evidence.
No, I'm actually trying to talk. Shut up. All right.
Okay, what's the evidence?
So again, the reason why I'm presenting more evidence, right, or like I'm just showing how your position is absurd, right?
No, just give the evidence.
No, if
no,
I believe that him showing that he has power over life and death is showing.
I don't know what that means.
Oh my God,
how he's doing that.
Yo, Coco,
look. Wait. Look, the point is that we're trying to walk through. Stop muting me. I'm trying to explain.
Stop muting me.
You're not tracking. Because you're not tracking. You're not tracking.
No, I am tracking.
No.
I am tracking. Notice how.
Okay, so where are we at? Wait. Where?
No, notice how when I'm talking, I listen. So when you talk,
where are we at?
So when I talk, you listen.
Where are we at? You're saying you're tracking.
Can both of you stop acting like fucking children?
Shut the hell, bro. What is wrong with him, bro?
Wait.
Jesus Christ, this is uninteresting.
Presumably there's
where we're at, we're just talking. We're talking about
COVID. I mean, you.
No.
Wait. Stop evading.
You actually have better freaking arguments.
Okay, look, now you're doing meta. The point is where we're at. We're talking about. Look, we're talking. Look, Wait, stop. We're talking about types of things Jesus had done.
Can you shut up? No, I heard. No, shut up, bro. I heard you 100 times.
We're trying to,
bro. Like, just shut the heck up, bro.
Trying to understand. We're trying to understand. We're trying to understand.
Trey,
what are the evidences? We're trying to, and he's just doing meta.
I would do
trying to understand.
Dude, I heard you 100 times.
So what's the answer?
Do you want me to steal a minute? Dude, shut up! Oh my God, bro.
What am I trying to say?
What is wrong with this kid?
What am I trying to say right now?
What is wrong?
Look. Can we just look, J-Rob? Look. This is very simple. Look. So we're going under this. Look. So Jesus, we're a disciple. We're in his time. We're experiencing these things, right? We want to know, right? What's going to be expected under the proposition? He is the Son of God. That's exclusive from this other proposition that he is some lying wizard. Right, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, bro.
Or at least favored.
Favored. Like this is like one, he fulfilled prophecies, many prophecies. Two, he shows that he has power over life and death.
No, let's go one at a time.
Wait. That's the point. That's exactly what I've been trying to do. One at a time.
Oh my goodness.
Let J-Rob go. Just let him.
Please, guys. Please, just write him. Somebody write him down. Hang on, I'll write him down.
Okay, so go with the first one.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna give up now. 1 second.
No, this is the point.
What miracles is done by Jesus that favors that being explained by God?
Oh my goodness. Yo,
we're gonna go with you, J-Rob. Hang on.
Wait, I want to speak real quick to Trey, the host, right? Because I feel like this is just gonna get nowhere, right? What I'm trying to do, because his argument is that, hey, look, no matter. Oh my gosh, shut up.
Let him speak.
My issue here is that no matter what evidence is presented, right, he's going to say, hey, if I don't have a philosophical argument or inference or whatever, right, that he cannot conclude that God exists.
Oh my God, this is meta though, Trey.
So what I'm trying to present to him, right, instead of just going.
Why are you letting him do this?
Oh my goodness, yo, what is wrong with him, bro?
J-Rob,
he's like a freaking child, bro. He's like a child.
Look,
calm down, Monkey.
Look, I'm just trying to stay on the substance.
No, I did that, Monkey Boy, because you've interrupted him every single time he's tried to speak. I get it.
He's literally doing meta.
I get it.
He's literally
You're
He's
not
literally
doing
doing
that.
meta.
Oh my goodness.
He's literally
Just
doing
let
meta.
him fucking speak.
Yeah,
I
but
get it.
not
I
with
get it.
meta.
That's you.
I
Just
can.
let him speak.
I can.
It's not meta.
No, I get he's doing meta too, but like I
He
feel like
literally
Trey,
is.
Trey, I want Trey to show me how this is meta, right? Because I'm trying to attack.
Because you're talking about
I
what
said I
I'm
want
gonna
Trey.
do.
Are you Trey?
You're talking about his psychology.
Are you
and how
Trey,
that-
bro? You're not Trey. Let me talk to Trey, right? I'm
Drop both. They're not going to stop. They're just not. You drop both of them.
I don't mind engaging with what he's trying to like talk about, right? But I don't want to just waste time because every piece of evidence I'm gonna give him, he's gonna say, "Oh, this could be some type of wizard," right? So what I'm trying to get,
J-Rob, I have to stop you because that's what's in contention, brother. You are confused. You can't just say he did these prophecies. Wait. You can't just say he did these prophecies.
No, I'm
therefore,
not,
he's
bro.
God. That's what's in contention.
Kobe. Listen. Just listen, right? When I brought up, hey, look, Jesus did all these miracles. Are you gonna conclude that he's not God? He said yes. Like okay. So he's already he's already
Look, J-Rock,
he's
can
already
you please just go back.
he's
to the
already
argument?
expressed to me. He's already expressed to me that the things
Like
that
surely
that
you don't know.
oh
You
my
realize you're
God,
doing meta.
no.
Look,
He's already
come on,
expressed to
J-Rob,
me.
you know you're
He's
doing
already
meta.
so
Let's just
he's
go back
already
to the argument.
he's already
Ignore
expressed
Kobe. Just ignore what Kobe said and go back.
Hey, J-Rob.
He's doing that. He's talking over me because he knows like he's cooked. Right? He can't.
You're
he can't
doing
engage
that
with
cooked.
he can't engage with a
can't
conversation
engage.
at this point.
What am I
Okay,
trying to do right now?
He can't engage anymore. So this is what he has to do.
What?
Yeah.
Look,
Shut
you're
up.
not talking about the
Yeah,
argument.
try
right
it.
now.
Just try it.
We're not.
Just try it, and then you can respond to me.
Just engage with the argument.
You can respond to me.
Why is he like
right?
projecting super bad?
I'm not projecting anything. So
You
so
said
this
that
one-
I'm not engaging by not
yeah,
interrupting
so
you doing
by-
meta.
by
If I let
continuously
you speak,
interrupting-
you're not progressing the argument.
You're not. I'm not even talking to you. Just relax.
I understand that's the point.
Oh my God.
Well, it's not even a point with who you're talking
Oh
about.
my
It's just
goodness, bro. What is
the
wrong?
thing you're
with
talking
this
about isn't progressing where we're at.
Okay,
in the
so you
conversation.
think. Let's
Look,
see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
look.
engage.
No.
And
I think everybody can
let's
see
just-
that Monkeyboy
look,
is
wait,
just manifesting.
Okay, well, and he's not doing meta
I
really.
just
Like,
don't.
Yeah, because
I'm
you
like
don't shut up.
dishonest at this point.
Hey,
No,
J-Rob,
let's just go back.
You won't shut up. Like what the heck?
Because
Let me
it's
talk.
meta. Look,
It's
let's
not
just
meta.
go back.
It's not meta. So
How
I'm
is it
asking.
meta?
Yes, because you've already said, hey, all of the evidence. If you witnessed it yourself, right, that Jesus did, you already said that you wouldn't believe he was God, right? And your overall argument.
What evidence? I wasn't faced with evidence. That's the whole point where we're. Look, I was trying to get the evidence.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Look, where we're at is there's
Can
a
I-
range of
can I
there's a
please?
range of like events or phenomena, and it's of Jesus doing things that are like miraculous or extremely unlikely, whatever. Now we can explain those events with a range of different explanations. I asked you if someone who believed it was a wizard rather than the Son of God, if they're irrational. You said yes, and you said because there's evidence that favors him being the Son of God. When asked what's the evidence, you re-appealed to the evidence that the explanations accommodate. Now, first, unless you're making the claim that one of the explanations more strongly expects that than the other, which you haven't, nor showed that, right? Which I was trying to investigate. You said his miracles. The miracles are the things being accommodated by the explanation. So what about the miracles favors one over the other?
I didn't say simply miracles.
And when I tried honing in on that, you started crying, and Covey called this out. He said,
no.
let's go one at a time. And when you appeal to the miracles, that's the thing to be explained.
Oh my God. No, I didn't. I said fulfilling prophecies, and I'll just leave it with creating life. Supernaturally.
Okay,
He-
hang on. Wait,
he created life.
Okay, so I started. Hang on, wait, please, hang on. So I started the list. Is your full list fulfilling prophecy and power over life and death?
Well, we don't even got to worry about this. We could just go 1 point at a time.
Yeah.
This is why. Hold on. This is why.
No, that's what I was
J-Rob
going to do. I was
isn't
trying to write it
understanding
down.
This is why J-Rob
I was
is
trying to write it down so we could go one at a time.
He's saying.
He could just give the next point after we finish whatever point he already gave.
Monkeyboy, I'm just trying to make it so this conversation doesn't stay where the fuck we've been for the past 20 minutes.
This is just dumb.
I mean,
Well,
you
that's
have to
where-
agree this
that-
has been stupid and pointless.
Well, it's
is
not
dumb.
stupid and pointless. The whole point has just been him
It
not
is literally
engaging.
is. I'm not engaging. Sure.
If we could just stay linear, that would have resolved this whole thing.
Because this
I'm
is
just trying to. Yeah, go
Oh my
ahead.
God, bro.
like J-Rob. Do you understand that we're looking for evidence that Jesus actually did?
What?
Jesus, one of the
Not that he did those things, just that the better explanation is him being God.
Yeah, that's the. I was trying to get there. Jared,
Okay.
you can list your full list of things, and
I mean, he said-
prophecy or power over life and death.
Yeah. He said.
Why is that?
He said. He
Why
said a
could that not be
wizard.
explained by a wizard versus?
Yeah. Show me a wizard that has any prophecies. Show me a wizard.
We can say the same thing for you.
Show me a wizard that can bring life.
No, you're not understanding. The
Marlon,
point is that.
Great.
Wait, hang on. Wait. I can give you one from mythology, Marlon.
Give me the evidence.
No, wait. But that's just a pivot. What we're not supposed to do is give you. The point is that if he was a wizard, would we expect him to be able to do these things? Right? If he's
No,
a wizard,
wizards
if
can't do
he's.
that.
What do you mean wizards can't do that?
you're just
Wizards
asserting
can't
that,
do
J-Rob.
Huh?
That's just an assumption.
I'm just
Okay, but
understanding.
what are you talking
I'm
about? Wizards?
I'm understanding a wizard to be a type of person who can do anything they can imagine if they're like
what
sufficiently
is
like
this? Willy Wonka, bro?
equipped with
Willy Wonka's not a fucking
spellcasting.
wizard.
We
we
just freaking
it
Hogwarts.
doesn't even have to be. Wait, we don't
Like,
even have
Well,
to.
yeah,
like,
that is a wizard.
We have other mythology. Wait, we have
okay.
other mythology stories
All right,
that
all
are
right,
just
but
like
listen,
the story of
that,
the story of Arthur and Merlin.
look, guys, look at. I want everybody to listen clearly, right? I literally just explained to you guys what was going to transpire, which is the reason why I said a better argument to make here, right? Dealing with his condition that he's in is to just say, hey, look, this person is able to show that he's omnipotent, right? By being able to collapse the universe and bring you to the realm of hell, right? He's able to show you all these things, right?
Who?
At that point, are you still going to say, well, I don't have any
Wait,
inference
who's
here?
he?
God.
Wait, what? Wait, that's just question begging the existence of God.
Oh
there.
my God, bro.
Do
Okay,
you not realize again?
Jesus.
You're
Jesus.
not tracking.
Yeah,
We were
Jesus
talking.
doesn't understand.
Jesus does this. Jesus does this.
When did Jesus take someone to hell and open the gates of
I didn't
hell?
ask you. That's oh my God, bro.
Oh my God! You literally said.
Can somebody else engage? Can somebody please engage? Somebody else, please.
You literally said.
Slow, man.
J-Rob,
Can
that's
you
why I tried
stop?
to clarify.
He literally said, "If I was a disciple of God, walking the whole time with Him, as in the Bible, and
Trey,
I
I
saw
know you could just
firsthand
steal man what I just
all
said.
the things." Oh my
Trey,
God!
Trey, I know you
Can
can steal man.
can anyone else here on the panel vouch that I'm wrong? That he said, "If I was a disciple of Jesus, walking in His behind Him the whole time through." Now
I think
talking about
everybody
events
up here,
that aren't described to be experienced in the Bible by the disciples.
I think anybody up here can steal man what I just said. But
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah, J-Rob, you did introduce things that aren't like
But he just,
Kobe,
I think he's changing it now.
what did I
J-Rob,
just say? Oh my goodness,
That's
what did I
the
just
point.
say?
Yeah, he's changing it. He's saying now this being has the ability to show you that he's God.
Wait a minute, but this is like confused.
Kobe. Look, I know if I talk to you, you can actually understand what I'm saying, right? Listen. So I've been said multiple times now. If I just give him the evidence that's presented, he can just say, hey, look, a wizard could possibly do this. So I'm like, all right, well, let's scratch that. Let's scratch that, right? And let's say, right, because listen, Kobe, his argument is that, hey, if he doesn't have a like philosophical inference to conclude that God exists, right, then it doesn't matter what happens, right? So I'm saying,
Literally what you're giving.
So I'm saying, hey, what if Jesus was able to do these things to you, right? Then and display that he has all this power, right? Then will you say, oh, well, I still don't have an inference rule?
Well, wait, because what he's wanting
We're
to say is
talking
that
about
to be explained by.
reasoning, not look. The point is, yeah. Well, go ahead.
No, I mean, like, because we're probably gonna say, like, what he's saying is that given those experiences, right, like explaining those by God is just going to be very weak, given the modicum of explanations that could accommodate the data. That's why he's not like off of being a disciple alone. Is
Yeah,
say,
okay,
oh yeah,
cool.
God
Okay,
exists.
You realize what is meant by evidence here is just what
that.
favors one theory.
Like all you're doing is just engaging.
Yeah, J-Rob is saying he's not using
that's just a contradiction. Like you said that for you said whatever evidence that you present, I would just say that's explained by the other thing. The evidence is understood to be that which favors one explanation over another. If evidence is just something that supports the theory you're proposing, contrasted to mine, then there's just no way. I don't even understand you talking about the rhetoric. Well, my theory just the point is that the datum is underdetermined by explanations. The evidence is something that offers reason to believe one explanation than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's impossible that you give evidence and then that both explanations equally like explain that to like the same degree. Then that just means it wasn't evidence.
It was, yeah. Do you get that, J-Rob, at all? Because that's like pertinent to the discussion. Because M-Boy's looking or MB's looking for something that's favored under he's the son of God.
Hey, my fault. I got a phone call.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But look, man, bro, I'm saying, okay, scratch the other stuff, right? Because your argument is, right, if you don't have a inference rule, a philosophical, logical argument, right, then your experiences don't really matter. Is that not what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying anything close to that.
Okay, so then you would agree then. So then you would agree that if you experience,
we're not talking about deductive reasoning.
Can you answer my question, bro? Oh my goodness. So would you agree that if you experienced this transcendent being, bringing you to heaven and hell and showing you all these, showing you that he has all this power, are you saying you still wouldn't conclude that God exists?
He's showing me all the power. You're just saying that I'm making some licensed judgment epistemically that he is like God. Then you're just baking in that I'm justified in believing in God. Earlier you just said if you had an experience with God, and I already explained how having an experience of something doesn't levy any given interpretation or explanation.
I just described the experience.
Yeah, but that's like saying, well, that just goes back to what I was saying earlier, that if I have the experience, if I put a pencil in water, that it appears to bend, am I then licensed in saying that the water's bending the pencil? Well, that doesn't follow. So if I have the experience of like a being warping space, well, I can explain that experience by a range of things, not it actually being a god or anything like that. And that's just the whole point, right? And you want to say that I'm irrational for believing it's a wizard rather than God.
I mean, hey, bro, if that's you, man, I'm sorry, man. I just have to pray for you, dog. Like straight up.
We're talking about.
Straight up.
Are you just conceding that I'm not irrational for thinking it's a wizard, or?
Bro, yes, I think you are irrational.
And why do you say that?
I mean, that type of experience would just kill my,
You're just naive.
You're just saying something about your psychology. I'm talking about how I'm irrational. I'm talking about how
someone could just put on a really good show, and you would just believe it.
Yeah, they said so. Y'all
do you know, like J-Rob? Are you familiar with Spider-Man? J-Rob, do you know who Mysterio is in Spider-Man?
Oh my goodness, bro.
Wait, J-Rob, do you know who Mysterio in Spider-Man is?
This is hilarious, bro. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so have you seen Far From Home?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while.
Yeah, his entire power is using technology to perform illusions for people or whatever, and that's his whole power. Like, he doesn't even have superpowers. So someone like Mysterio could just come along and take you on this journey and show you heaven and hell, and you would just be convinced that Christianity is true now.
So you think it's naive to say, hey, look, if all of the evidence points in one direction, like all of the evidence.
God, the contention is that we haven't seen reason to say evidence favors one.
Oh my God, yo. If all of the evidence,
can someone explain this to him? Because now he's going back to the evidence.
I will happily do it.
Yeah, so somebody's able to demonstrate.
I will happily do it.
This enormous power, right? Like I said, transcending the universe.
Demonstrates it. I'll gladly concede.
Somebody shows you all this power. You guys are saying, oh well, it's naive to believe that somebody would just warp into the pearly gate.
You're confused.
Right? You're gonna be like, you know what?
The thing you're confused with.
I don't have an.
Oh my God, J-Rob!
Does he think? Is it naive to say that when you put water, a pencil in water and it seems to bend, if you assume that the water causes the pencil to bend, would you say that's not naive?
This is all he has, man. All right, man. You're
Wait, can
the
you just answer?
It's a really good demonstration, actually.
Is that not naive?
Like an alien.
No, it's stupid because I can. So with the pencil bending, right? I can pull the pencil out and see that it hasn't been bent. So I can have actual. I can pull the pencil out of the water and see that the pencil.
It bends when submerged in the water.
Oh my goodness! You shut up, man. You're just terrible at this, man. You're book smart, but I'm sorry. This is just.
You're just doing meta.
No, I'm trying to talk and you won't shut up.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not meta. Just stop talking and then we can get somewhere.
Book smart, but that was meta right there. That wasn't engaging.
I'm trying to talk.
Point.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk, and you keep interrupting.
He says it's not meta, and then he says and gives a reason why.
Okay, sure. It's meta. Okay, sure. All right. So, like I have epistemic access to see that, hey, this pencil is not bent because I just pulled it out the water.
Epistemic access means you have an argument supporting it.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, I can pull the pencil out of the water and see that it hasn't been bent. Okay.
How do you know that? It's not. Hang on, please. How do you know that it's not just being bent while it's in the water? How do you know that the water itself isn't bending the pencil, and then when you pull it out,
because I can freaking.
That was the whole point.
I can freaking bend the pencil. I can see pencils don't bend that way. If you bend it, it'll break.
But hang on, how do you know that this isn't a special property of water? That when you submerge the pencil in the water, that it bends it, and then as you pull it back out, it straightens again.
I can dip my head in the water, or I can put my other hand in the water and feel the pencil that it's not freaking bent. My goodness. So I have epistemic access to see that the pencil is not being bent. Okay, it's just pure stupidity.
I don't see how.
So with regards to this, right? I wouldn't have any if there is a being that is able to freaking transcend this natural world and bring me into freaking heaven and hell, right, bro? This is just dumb for me to be like, oh yeah.
Well, you think you are naive?
I don't have any inference rules. You're literally missing the point. Say, you know what? I don't believe in this.
Why does he keep saying inference rules?
Like an alien could take him to another planet. And
this is just dumb.
And he's just like,
we've all got in the point.
No, if somebody brings it to another planet, I'm like, yo, what you want, man? What you want for me?
What if you accidentally ate a food and the food had a substance, and then you go on a trip? Would you think it's naive then to say you experience something out of this world, in your tripping out, an alien kidnaps you and takes you to Mars, right? And then you think you get probed and experimented on, and you wake up and your stomach feels weird, and you think they implanted stuff. Would you think that's a naive move to make?
Bro, what the hell? No, I would wake up, I'd go to the hospital and figure out what the hell would happen.
No, I'm not asking you what you would do after the event. I asked you, would you be naive in making that move, assuming that explanation?
Not just immediately. Like I said, I'd go get checked out.
Look, the whole point we're saying is that in your experience, what seems to be the case doesn't offer reason to believe that it is the case. So it seems that there's a being that is, I don't know, doing whatever, doesn't mean that's the case. Just like it seems that when I put pencil in water, it bends.
Somebody else have a
That's why,
better
Gerald, you notice how when I
argument,
asked you
man.
about the pencil,
I'm
you notice
sorry.
how when I asked you about the pencil, you said that you would take your other hand and put it in the water and feel the pencil to see if it's not being bent. Okay, well now you're getting yourself a suppositional argument as to why you know this isn't the case. You cannot believe the thing because you have other information to believe that's not the case, right? Now all we're saying is if you're not touching the pencil, if you're not gathering other supplemental information about this thing, you just see the pencil being bent in the water. How do you not know that it's not actually bending the pencil? Monkeyboy, that is correlative
that's the
to
whole point.
Monkeyboy asking, how do you know that it's not?
If I can,
It's correlative to how Monkeyboy is asking you,
I'm
how do you know that
explaining
Jesus
that.
isn't a wizard instead of God?
Yeah, I'm explaining that. Yes, if I can like test and examine, experience, this
Doing more than what's had in the scenario.
The pencil, I can test and examine, right? If in the case that God cracks the sky and brings me to like I said to the gates, I can test and examine, and if I don't have any access to see, like, okay, I'm dreaming, this is whatever, then I mean it's foolish for me to just be like, nah, I don't got no philosophical arguments, so I just can't come to this conclusion. This is irrational because I don't have a bonus ponus. Like
the point,
this is dumb, man.
Look, we're just saying that if I just saw someone dip a pencil in water, and I saw that the pencil seemed to bend, would you say that you're warranted in saying?
Have a better argument. This is just trash. I'm sorry, man. This is trash.
You're engaging in thought termination. I'm asking, please.
I'm just saying that somebody have
just listen. Like,
it's like we're going in circles at this point.
Look, just listen. If I dipped, just stop talking and listen. If I dipped the pencil in water and it seemed to bend, would you think I'm justified in saying the pencil bent?
No, you should test it.
So if I saw some events about a being taking me to heaven and hell, right? So it seemed that experience. So it seemed like there was a being of the kind who can like access heaven and hell. How am I then also not warranted in making that assumption?
How are you not warranted? Because like that there's nothing this powerful. Like you've never experienced anything this powerful.
Wait, but what's the symmetry breaker in the two cases?
Yeah, one.
The point is that you're explaining
one is simply. Like I said, it's trivial to say the least. And the other,
what do you mean?
Whether or not the water bends a pencil isn't going to change my life, right? But if something is in control, and demonstrating like power,
no, we're talking about the seeming
of this, the ramifications, right? It's just like
you're going to other stuff.
I have to take this.
No, you're going to other stuff.
And I have to go to a conclusion.
No. Look, we're talking about.
Shut up, bro.
No, because you're missing the point, and I don't want you to ramble on a point you're not understanding. Like, why would I do that? Look, the point is that there's a seeming had in the experience, and that the seeming, you're not justified in believing the experience is explained by why, because it seems to be. Right? And you signed off on that in the case of the water and the pencil, but then in the case of God, you don't want to accept that. And you want to say that you're justified in believing it in virtue of it seeming to be the case. And it's just not clear why.
Dude, you just said simply, like you got, this is what you're doing, right? I'm saying, hey, look, in your example, you can test and see, and if all your tests fail, then conclude that.
I'm not talking about testing.
Oh my God.
J-Rob, stop saying test.
We're talking about whether you're. We're talking about whether we're just. All we're saying is that.
Oh my God, bro, this dude won't shut up, bro.
But you say that, but then you're not following.
Oh my God! So because you guys are saying, because you guys are
whines every time you interrupt. This is like a dumb
hypothetical. You're saying that all I could do is see the pencil going in the water. I can't test it.
Yes.
Right? All right. And this is why I'm saying this is stupid, because no, you're supposed to investigate, right? But you're saying, oh no, you can't investigate. I'm like, okay, well, if you can't investigate, then
said that.
Oh my God.
We're talking about if you have that observation and you have a seeming in the scenario, are you licensed in thinking it's explained by the seeming? And then you're talking about not appealing to the seeming, but testing the explanation that seems to be the case, which is offering evidence. We're talking about whether the seeming is evidence.
If the seeming, I mean, sure, the seeming is evidence. Yeah, sure.
How's it evidence?
Yeah, because if I don't,
now you're just contradicting yourself. Because earlier you said you're not justified. You literally said you're not justified in thinking.
Shut up, man.
Look. I'm explaining how you're contradicting yourself.
Oh my God.
Well, if you can stop crying and listen, because you're contradicting yourself. Right? You said that you're justified. You said earlier it's not evidence, or you're not justified in thinking that the water.
Never said it's not evidence. You said, am I justified in believing?
Well,
that?
what do you mean? Yeah, and you said no.
Yeah, that's not. That doesn't mean that is there evidence to believe that.
It's justified, and there's not. Wait, there's evidence, and you're not justified.
Yeah, just because you have evidence for something doesn't mean that the evidence is presenting a high probability that that proposition.
Wait,
is true.
so you do think the seeming is evidence, though?
Huh? Yeah, sure.
So if I see a pencil dipped in water and it seems like the water's bending the pencil, then that's evidence under your view that the water bends the pencil?
Yeah, definitely. Like if I'm looking into a house and the lights are on, right? Is that not evidence that somebody's inside the house?
If I had the experience,
can you answer the question? Can you answer the question?
No, I don't. Well,
is that
I don't
evidence?
think
If the lights are on, is that evidence?
No, it's not necessarily evidence.
That's not evidence.
I don't. Wait, the thing you're describing, I don't think is merely.
The difference between you and Monkeyboy is the seeming is an evidence of a conclusion, right? Like, because for Monkeyboy, if you say, if I look inside a house and see the lights are on inside the house, is that evidence that somebody's inside the house? You're kind of already drawing a conclusion. Monkeyboy could say no.
That's not evidence.
Well, the point is,
hang on, let me finish.
You can
let me fucking finish. Let me finish. Is the fact that what he could say is no, somebody could have just left the lights on and left the house. There doesn't necessarily have to be somebody on in the house.
Yeah, no, duh. Obviously, but typically when the lights are on in the house, typically somebody's there. Oh, how about this? What if there's a car in the driveway? What about if there's a car in the driveway and the lights are on?
He's not.
Is that evidence then, Jack?
Wait, he's not understanding. Now he's going to things that aren't merely seemings.
Yeah. What? That is a seeming.
Let him explain.
You can be justified that in thinking that if there's a car at a driveway or if the lights are on, that some person's in their home, right? And that can be justified in like an inductive or Bayesian way. So the seeming, no, I wouldn't say the seeming offers justification. If I've never like had experiences about like people not being in their house when their car's out the driveway, or inversely when they're in their house when the car's in the driveway, then I wouldn't be licensed in making that assumption if it merely seems to be the case. We're talking about merely just the seeming. What if I had the experience you described and I had the seeming I'm having a hallucination, right? And that it's not that, it's God or whatever. You would say that that's evidence that I'm hallucinating and that it's not God?
I'm sorry, man. What?
You described an experience about going to heaven and hell and stuff. And I said, what if that to me seemed like I was hallucinating rather than God existing and doing that?
If it seemed like you're hallucinating?
Yeah, that's evidence over theism.
Right.
If it seemed like you're hallucinating, that's evidence over theism?
You said the seemings are evidence.
Yeah, the seeming, like if you're saying...
So then that's evidence of theism. It's not
theism.
But
it's stronger evidence. So like, we generally know what produces hallucinations. You're either dehydrated, or you have some type of mental illness, or certain foods and stuff like that could send you into a hallucination, right? But let's say that you're perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. You just left the doctor's office or whatever.
But now you're just stipulating stuff that's not added.
Check you out, everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? So why would you seem to be hallucinating?
See, now you see how dishonest he is. Like, it's like
I'm dishonest. Like you literally bring up
you're baking in stuff. You are baking in stuff that lowers the probability of it being a hallucination, independent of the seeming.
I can't tell.
No way anyone here is going to act like he's not doing that.
Yeah, I'm being dishonest.
Baking in motivation. I think it's unlikely it's a hallucination, independent of the seeming.
Yeah, just like you said, I can't test a pencil. Right, I just got to look at it.
That's what we're talking about.
Seemings aren't
we're talking about seemings are not justifications.
How is he still in he's like in a Dormammu loop of stupidity?
Who says seemings are justifications?
You.
I never said
What? No way.
I said it's evidence. I said it's evidence. But seriously?
Evidence is a justification.
Yeah, that's what.
Evidence isn't justification.
They're being used synonymously.
No, they're literally synonyms.
Yeah, they're synonymous,
bro.
Or at least in the context of epistemic justification. You can have a dogmastic justification that's not evidence. You made it clear we're talking about epistemic reasons to believe in God, and establishing my heart disposition in a rational way.
No, that's not.
J-Rob, if seemings are not justification, then you can't say that witnessing Jesus commit miracles is justification.
You said what?
If it seems like he's God, him seeming to be God when he does those events, that's not evidence he's God. So you would have to appeal to other explanatory considerations to make a judgment, a rational judgment about whether he's God or a wizard.
Which is what should have happened a long time ago.
You said if seemings aren't justifications, what?
But you can't appeal to it as a reason?
You can't appeal to seemings. So you can't. It seems like Jesus was God, but because he does miracles. But that's not justification.
Yeah, because you've just said that seemings aren't. So.
Seemings aren't justification.
Exactly.
Literally what you just said. You said seemings are not justification. So therefore, if it
No,
seems that Jesus
I
is
said I
bad,
never said that.
then it's
You guys are saying that I said that. I never said that.
Oh,
I am.
so
Come on, you said
so you think
that.
seeming
No,
was fucking
I said it could be evidence. I said seemings would be evidence of something.
Then
Why did you
He
give?
just said he never said that, and now he's saying no. What I was saying is that seemings
No,
would
that's
be evidence.
that's literally what I said. I said it's evidence, right? And
Oh
that's
my
the,
God.
Why did you give the
Please
analogy of Fox
let me
Film?
run on this for a second. Please
yeah.
let me run on this for a second.
Did I not?
Our
Wait,
seemings.
hold on. Did I not say that? Hey, look, when I started talking about the lights in the house, right? That's evidence, right? There's evidence that somebody's in the house, and that's why I said that seemings are evidence that something is to be the case.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that's a seeming. That could be evidence in a
What's your distinction between a seeming and evidence?
Seeming's a type of mental, some type of non-doxastic mental state. Evidence is.
Man, what the hell is a doxastic, man? Bro.
Well, look, the point is that I don't even think it's going to be fruitful to describe a seeming. But the point is just that evidence is that which raises the probability of some proposition, whilst like a seeming is just some type of mental state. It's like what's the difference?
So you don't think a seeming, something seeming to be the case,
that is not
is raising the proposition.
He's using the colloquial
the probability of a proposition being true, right? Like if a mom seems to be making me food, then that probably raises the probability that she's
I'm
actually
also using the colloquial.
making
the point
food.
is just that humor fleshes out what the concept means.
Is that not like?
No, that's not evidence. I don't think seemings are evidence.
So what's your distinction, bro? I don't know.
What's
the symmetry record?
What? Well, they're just definitionally different things. Like they're clearly not picking out the same concept.
No, I'm not saying. Like, I'm saying how is it not evidence? How is it not evidence or something?
Because I don't see how it raises the probability of it.
Yeah, if something seems.
If something seems to me.
Like yeah, it seems like I'm talking on the phone with a bunch of trolls on TikTok, right?
Here, I'll give you an example, J-Rob, if you'll allow me, right?
I'm just saying, like,
in the sense,
if it seems to be the case, isn't it evidence that it is the case?
No,
sure,
evidence is something
the theory
not
necessarily.
Sure, there's a possibility that
I'll give you an
we're
example.
brains in the back.
Let me give you this example. I ran it the other day with somebody, right? If I look out my front window and I see there's a red ball sitting in my yard, right? I could say it seems to be the case the kids from next door threw the ball into my yard. Now, that is not necessarily the case. Somebody else could come along and say, well, actually, a red ball delivery truck drove through here and it fell off the back of the truck and landed in your front yard, right? That is equally as possible of a thing. Neither seeming indicates is raises the probability of the case being true.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear a part of it. You were speaking kind of fast.
Sorry. Okay. So red ball sitting in my yard. I could say it seems to be the case. The neighbor's kids threw it into my yard. Someone else could then come along and say, no, actually, it seems that a red ball delivery truck drove through here and this ball fell off the truck and landed in your front yard. Neither seeming is raising the probability of the event being true. It just seems to be that's the case.
Now what would raise the probability?
He's just going to confuse that again with like it's unlikely a ball. Look, like let's just say I get like a ball as like a Christmas present. And you don't know the color, but it seems to you that I got a blue ball for Christmas. Is that evidence that the type of ball I got is blue because it seems to you?
Yeah, of course.
No, it's not. What? But you don't see the ball.
If it seems to be like why is it seeming to be blue? Is it because your favorite color is blue? Is it because
it's
in a blue box?
You just have a posture.
Yeah,
I give you like I gifted my.
Why? Wait, hold on.
This is like so stupid. This is like when you ask someone like,
I just keep going like all over the place. So you're saying
not all over the place.
Yes, if it seems to me, if it seems to me, then yes, obviously that the evidence.
How's that evidence the ball is blue?
Because it seems to me to be the case, right?
Well, that's just question begging.
I'm just saying, like from my perspective, why is it seeming to be the case to me? Is it just I have an assumption? I just have I'm guessing.
Yeah, you literally in the scenario you fixed it to where you're you said his favorite color's blue. You're fixing it to where you'd be.
I'm asking why does it seem to be blue? Like
it doesn't matter. Let's say you don't know why it seems to be. Say you don't know. You don't know why it seems to be. It seems to be. Is that evidence it's blue?
I don't.
Say no, man. It's not evidence. It's not evidence.
Obviously not in this scenario because it's just.
It's not any scenario.
Pure random. I mean, because you're not giving any reason why it seems to be blue.
It just seems.
That doesn't change.
You're just saying that it's random. Like I don't know how I can seem to think
what
that
causally brings
you have a specific color.
Somehow raise it, change it from being evidence.
No, I'm just saying it does. Like you're not giving me a reason why it seems.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't change whether it's probability reason. What causes your seeming?
Yeah.
That doesn't change whether it's probability reason.
Like.
yeah, it does. It does actually.
Why?
Because if it seems to be blue because, most balls are blue. So
then that's induction. That's an inference. That's an argument. We're talking about a mere seeming independent of background.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Background information.
That's the whole point.
No, but now you're doing it for like the millionth time.
Oh my God,
independent justification.
You're not tracking, bro.
Which explains the seeming. You're saying it seems to be the case because of background influence.
Oh my goodness, Monkeyboy, you're not tracking, right?
I think we're done with this. I think we just move on. I think
I'm saying that there's a reason why.
I think there's an unclosed gap here.
Can I finish?
No, J-Rob, there's no need for you to finish. I think we should just move.
Yeah, if I say,
yeah, I didn't kick him. I did not kick him, but this is just unfruitful.
You know,
the point's been I didn't kick him, so he better not kick me because I did not. I was just saying we need to move to anything else because the point's been reiterated a million times and he's still not getting it. And I think there's just a gap in like the understanding of philosophy here and the armchair people.
When assuming is evidence when supported by an inference. This is like,
bro. I've been trying to get off this stupid argument, this circular argument.
Well, we're off it. It
wasn't.
Yeah, like it's just dumb.
You just couldn't follow.
Yeah. That's it, sir. It's just stupid, bro. Like
J-Rob, in this case, right? Like you just didn't track. Like I like you, J-Rob, but you
guys aren't dealing with what I just said. And
no, because look, the reason I say we should stop this is because I know you don't you're not really philosophically literate. That's not a shot at you.
That doesn't matter.
I don't think. No, wait, that's not a shot at you. I'm just
because I don't know. Hold on, just because I don't using all the philosophical terms, that doesn't mean that.
No, but it's apparent here because if you knew the terms,
I could track. Hold on, bro. I can track your little Phil bro talk, bro.
So what?
I just don't. I don't like engaging.
No.
You just made a claim. Arguments.
You just made a claim, brother. You just said you tracked. So please recapitulate.
Hold on, because you guys didn't deal with what I was saying, right? Because I'm saying, hey, yeah, the seeming is usually based off of a reason. I don't know why anybody would have a seeming if it's not based off some type of reason.
Seemings are not inferential. Reasons seemings are non-inferential. Oh my God. When the views that seemings are evidence are a type of view that epistemic reasoning can be non-inferential. They don't act as reasons, right? The view you're like talking about where seemings are a reason, where you're equivocating on reason, where reasons can be non-inferential, it's a view called phenomenal conservatism, right? And that's actually a view that's unpopular. Well, it might be popular, but in any case, it's just a semantic view. It's not substantial. The point just stands that you're talking about something that you're not even understanding. We were trying to get you to we were trying to make clear you're saying that seemings stand as evidence, and then all you kept doing was bringing up examples that are ones that are supported by an inference.
So when I just look up the definition of seeming, one of the definition was like evidently or outwardly appearing.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, but I don't know why you would appeal to a non-philosophical resource to give like a rigorous definition of that. But in any case,
in the when we're having this discussion,
yeah, well, that just smuggled words. Obviously, the definition you gave just smuggled in like something that's a philosophical concept.
You're saying I'm not tracking, but it's just like when we're talking about a specific word, and if I'm not using it in some just idiosyncratic way, then it's not me that's not tracking. That's you guys. Like I don't get it.
It's like imagine you're not a physicalist about the mind, so you search up love, and then love says it's a psychological state, and psychology is like mapped out on neurology, which is like physical. And you say, see, no, the mind is physical. Look, Oxford defines love as a type of psychological state. Like, what are you talking about? You're like a complete joke.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Kobe, do you got a better argument, man?
I mean, I don't better argument for what? Like, I don't think seemings are evidence, and I'm in agreement with MB here. I'm not of the like that. I don't think seemings are evidence. Like, and that's just gonna be trivially true because evidence would be updated, and a seeming is like it's non-inferential. So
I would say a seeming would probably be just like based off evidence.
No, but that's not okay. It wouldn't be a seeming.
Yeah, based off of the evidence, it seems to be.
No, that wouldn't. Wait. When you say the words to me based off of the evidence, that just wouldn't be a seeming to me.
That wouldn't be a seeming.
You're conflating what you have like a confidence in believing with the seeming.
That's
Bro, how are y'all defining seeming, man?
Well,
I don't think explaining it you're gonna understand, but like something can seem to be the case, and you don't have to believe it.
Hang on,
yeah, I agree with that.
Like
like I said, when I use the example of the car in the driveway with the lights on, might seem like somebody is inside the house, but it just may not be the case. So
J-Rob,
I don't get how.
Wait, J-Rob, there's a difference between what seems.
we can work.
Wait, hold on.
We can work with that though. We just please understand like there are issues, but we can work with that, right? You see a car sitting in a driveway, and you say it seems to me that there's somebody in the house, right? Somebody's home, right? Now you are using background knowledge you have as like it's an inference, right? But that doesn't just because this is a seeming to you, like it seems to be the case, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It doesn't make it evidence of the case. Somebody could have an extra car. Somebody could have taken a taxi. Somebody could have gotten picked up, right?
Wait. It doesn't make it evidence. Are you serious?
It doesn't necessarily make it evidence of the case, right? Like, no, it doesn't. Just because you have 100 about a thing doesn't make it the case.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wait. So you're saying that because you agree that you agree that the car and the lights, those are evidence, right?
The reason I say that those are evidence is because you're using like prior background knowledge and like you're running an inference about these kinds of things, right?
They are evidence, right? God.
But he said that you're not using an argument. He said that just from the seeming, you can like if
God,
like,
I'm sorry.
to heaven how, and it seems like, or if an entity takes you to heaven how, and it seems to be God, then you're irrational for not thinking it's God. And he said you don't have to consult like inference rules or an argument or philosophical reasoning. So then now, but this is then just like not even understanding what his like initial claim was, that somehow you're warranted in believing things merely because they seem to be the case, independent of.
Bro, why can't you just answer the question, bro? Why can't
hang on, wait, Matthew put it pretty concisely. A seeming of a non-evidential inference. When we use that, is that fine for everyone?
A seeming is a non-evidential.
Wants to say it's evidence.
Yes, Matthew is smart. And
I don't see how it would be a non-evidential because, like I said, so again,
it's not even
is the car, because nobody answered my question. Is the car and the lights on in the house evidence that somebody's in the house?
Yeah, it could be, but I wouldn't say it's
not because of the seeming.
Yeah,
I didn't ask you that.
Well, we're talking. Look, we want.
Okay. I know what we're talking about, and that's why I asked you a question.
Are you just? Is he just asking? Is it evidence of some possible explanation? Is that what you're asking?
You guys aren't just answering my question. My goodness.
Are you saying? Let's say I never experienced like.
Yeah. So
the reason that we're reticent to answer the question is because baked into it is.
Why don't you just answer and let me get to my point?
Because the answer could be yes, it's evidence independent of how it seems.
So just so we're clear. So I'm just trying to make sure we're clear, right? Right? Is that based off of that evidence that we just agreed on is evidence, right? It will seem to me that somebody's in the house. And what you guys are saying is that the seeming itself is not evidence
of illusion. You just reached that seeming. You just reached the seeming backwards, right? A seeming is like they said in the comments. It's non-inferential. What you've done is use things like you've done some sort of analysis. You've inferred to the fact that you've seen cars in houses with people there. You've seen lights be turned on with people turning them on to infer that somebody's in that house. You didn't. That's not a seeming. That's the problem, right? When you've updated on some background information or facts, it's no longer a seeming.
Things that you come to believe with an inference is just some type of credence. When you have like some appearance of a proposition being true or not, that's just a seeming. So you can have seemings without ever like seeing cars, right? You see like the object and you think like somehow from that there's like the configuration in the scenario, it seems like there's people in the house.
Hang on, can I try something real fast? Hey Jared, pick it up between 1 and 10.
5.
All right. Why?
Because it's in between 1 and 10.
All right, but that wasn't the correct number, right? But you thought that would be the correct number.
Well, it's just
it seemed to be the case that it was the number, but it wasn't the number. The correct number was 7.
You might have not even been under the impression you had a correct number to choose from.
All right, it's random, so it's not like a seeming. It's just a guess.
Because, like, of course, numbers aren't like propositions. So when you say like choose a number,
I know. I'm just trying to illustrate it.
Man,
I'm just trying desperately to illustrate this point.
I mean, it's not.
But that doesn't make it clear that as seeming. Like if you said like choose, I'm thinking of a number, right? Correctly choose from 1 to 10 what it might be, and he said and even then he might even be judging based on past experiences of like experiments like this. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like the way you guys are using seeming. I mean, you said it's a philosophical definition.
You're arguing semantics. There are no semantics. You cannot know semantics if you do not believe in the semantics of the thing that you're asking. You're sitting here talking about how is that logical? You don't believe in God.
Is not good. Okay,
I just wanted to get off this call.
No, but we can. Well, that wasn't going to end it. That was going to continue.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Rabbit trail.